Hello, lovely beings. Welcome to today's episode of the Autumn Mindset. 'Tis I, your host and energy and mindset guide, Autumn Oakley. So, today's episode, I want to hop into learning to let go, because everything is energy and even just our mindset. I feel like the hardest thing we can do as humans is learning to let go of things. Let's be honest. So, how I like to view it in this sense is that, when we hold an attachment to something, we often hold an identity to it. And that really is the problem, is that we need to disassociate ourselves as, being a part of this thing we're trying to let go of. And, how I view this, we always love to say, start a new chapter. And yes, start a new chapter. But what I've learned over the years is that every time I felt I started a new chapter in my life, coming out of really hard times, I always fell back into hard times. And it's in this that you can be in a novel and 10 chapters, into it, but old characters can come back into the picture. Old versions of yourself can come back. Old habits that you thought you let go of. And that's really what it is about, is that when you are, in a book, you're really not fully letting go. The chapters are still kind of in play in, the paper, if you will. So, sometimes I think it's okay to bring to our awareness that, when we are feeling like nothing here is serving me anymore, I really need to step into the change. Sometimes it's not about writing a new chapter, but it is okay to start a new book. And that's something, we don't give our permission to ourselves to do. It's something that's not really, talked about or kind of, promoted in our society. We're always told, oh, but they're family. Oh, but you should be doing this thing. Keep it just in case, just for safety, and this is just, what has been conditioned. This is just, how we've brought up in life. But, this is kind of the mindset that our subconscious mind keeps on repeat, that, in any aspect of our life, when we're trying to let go, we have a hard time because of all the different areas of our life that we've kind of been conditioned to hold on to this attachment, to write new chapters, but never really, writing a new book. And, it's okay to start a new book. Make it a series. Make it a vital option, a vital step for you, and give yourself permission to understand that it is okay to close a book entirely and start a new one. And, with a series, take the characters that, are uplifting you in energy that make you feel seen and heard, and leave the rest in the book before that book's closed. Go ahead to take the versions and parts of yourself that you are looking to, take into the future that are really, aligned with the person you're trying to step into. And all those old versions of yourself, finally give yourself permission to close the book and let them go. And it's really, just about shifting our perception a lot of the time, that, we allow ourselves permission to let go. We allow ourselves permission to basically step into the new completely. And this is when we disassociate that identity that we held on to and that attachment as well. And, this is something I experienced over the years. I was always feeling like I could never let go of things. I was always feeling the need to stay in relationships where, I was really just begging to feel seen and heard. And it's not to say everyone and it's not to throw shame or shade, but it was in me recognizing certain things that, just how I've been going about my life, for decades. I never knew what it was to let go of things. I stayed in environments, I stayed in careers, I stayed in relationships, and it only led me into, chronic mental illness, chronic physical illness, a lot of pain and suffering that, I really didn't have to be experiencing for the long term. But it is, in facing hard things and, facing the things we often don't want to face, because that will, require us to set boundaries, to have difficult decisions, to step into the change. But then, in that, when you do the healing, it's basically giving you that step to let go. And a lot of the time, what I thought was attachment, what I thought was something I couldn't let go of, was really a part of myself that I needed to go within and heal and to address. A lot of the time I felt like I really loved this person, but it wasn't the person that I was attached to. It was the void I was feeling within myself that, I was basically repeating a cycle from my childhood. So go ahead to reflect. Give yourself permission to understand if you really need to step into the change. It is okay to start a new book. Make it a series. part two. And this will just give you permission to basically start anew and disassociate that with your identity and that as well. And this goes with, just my unique perception with, how we're always being told that we are someone, and maybe we don't actually know the truth of who we are, our authentic selves. And we're kind of in this, space that we're feeling confused, lost, looking to step into a journey of self-discovery. But when we've been told we are a lot of things, we hold that to our identity subconsciously, and it's in letting go of this we actually step into our authentic selves, which helps us in every area of our life, because we gain awareness of who we authentically are, what boundaries we need to set in accordance to that, what it is we actually enjoy, who it is that uplifts us in energy, in mindset, and understanding the truth of ourselves, so that we can actually, align with a life, with relationships, with, our careers that actually uplift us, make us feel whole and seen and heard. And, when I was always told, it could be simple as, being diagnosed with something. I was always being diagnosed with something, and I held that to my identity forever. And it just always led me into this, victimhood, to say this is who I am. I am an anxious person, instead of, bringing awareness to the fact that, hey, you know what? This does not define me. This is a part of something I'm experiencing, and I need to investigate the reasons as to why. I was always told, in physical illness, I was diagnosed with chronic physical illness twice, that, I was a person with fibromyalgia. So I always fell into that hole in my mindset to say, this is how I'm going to live my life now, in chronic pain. And I sat in that misery, and it just got worse in the mental sense, in the physical sense, instead of, stepping into the change to understand that I have the power to take steps, no matter how small, no matter how freaking painful. But I have the tools I need in this moment, even if I don't have anything at my disposal, to basically step into the change, to say, hey, I'm no longer going to let other people decide or tell me who I am or how I'm meant to live my life. This is not how I am going to be. This is not the version of myself that I envisioned, and I'm going to step into the change. So it's when, we can really bring awareness to what is causing effect in every area of our life, of, what has been told to us, what has been conditioned, what we've experienced, that will help to bring awareness to the reasons as to why we are really, holding an identity and attachment to this thing, so that we can understand where the root cause comes from. And it's when you bring awareness to that, you can finally, be like, oh, I get it. It's really not me. It's something, I experienced. It's something that was told to me over time. Now I understand why I felt, that this was me for so long, but it's not who I am at all. And I can finally let that go. And that's just a part of it. So let's get into today's episode, where I'm going to share, specific details of, areas of life, relationships, careers, finances, how we can approach these different situations in awareness, different examples for you, and, kind of bring to our perspective, how we can approach and let go of these things that are really holding us, to this point that we're feeling stuck. And truly, that's my wish for you. So let's hop into the episode, shall we? So we can learn to let it go. Welcome to The Autumn Mindset. 'Tis I, your host, Autumn Oakley. Wherever you are uniquely on your journey, everything you desire comes down to one simple step: breaking your current perception. Everything is coming into your view and into your life in the time that it is meant to, as the universe is trying to guide us to all we desire. But our biggest challenge is recognizing the signs and steps that we're meant to take in order to receive all that we seek. The way of living you desire is within you. You just have to recognize the blocks in order to break through. And truly, that's my wish for you. So, learning to let go. It's going to be a unique journey to you. We all have a unique perspective. We've all had unique experiences. And that's really a part of it, is that, everyone's always telling you what to do. Everyone's always telling you this way is the way. And, I think it's really important to bring awareness to the fact that, we all are unique for a reason. And for us to really let go of things, to heal things, to grow in general, we really need to bring awareness to the fact that we are unique in every area of life. And that's something that, should be brought to our awareness. So yes, people are, sharing what's working for them, what they have, learned, their unique perception of their experiences. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's what I'm sharing as well. So, I really promote, in all of my teachings and, just in this video in general, is that, with letting go, it's really important for you to take what resonates with what people are sharing with you and what you learn. So, sometimes I feel like we have been conditioned and we can get stuck to say, I can't let go, I can't let go, I can't let go. And, I'm not trying to do what these people are telling me, but it's just not working. And that's because if we are always focusing on what people are telling us, we're really not, focusing on ourselves. And it's us that is the key to everything. It's us that really knows what we've experienced. We understand our own pain. We understand, our unique perception and, how we're holding on to that. So, it is, taking what resonates. Always be a student. It's always wonderful to learn, but do some trial and error. And that's something that hasn't been taught. We haven't really been taught that it's okay to try a bunch of random things to see what works for you. And that's, people say in different ways, think outside the box, it's okay to fail in all of these aspects. But it's really just about trial and error. And trial and error is really just an okay thing. When you look at kids, it's really just about becoming curious about it. Kids who are curious, they are more likely to step into the fear of things, to do, trial and error, just to see how it's going to work out in the end. They don't always think about, the consequences. And yes, be safe. But, maybe we can bring this perspective back into life, curiosity. And, this is really important, is that, when we are, trying to figure out what's going to work for us, when we're trying to figure out why we're needing to let go, but we can't understand why, we can't, understand what is the cause of this attachment. When you allow yourself to remove the filter, remove what people are telling you, and focus on yourself, you can bring awareness and become curious of, what is it about me and my perception and what I'm feeling and my experiences that is, bringing on this sense of attachment. And, this is just, doing the inner work. This is doing healing. And a lot of the time, we heal inside. We're crying. We're trying to figure out how to let go of these things. And it's hard, and I understand. But, for anyone who's struggling with that, get outside. Even just going for a walk in solitude, helps to bring that curiosity to yourself. It helps things flow in your mind. It helps you to ground in nature. And that is just a natural thing that's going to help you in understanding, why you can't let go. And this is a wonderful tool that you can, bring into your life, when you're going on walks, when you're outside, you can ask God, ask the universe, why can't I let go of this attachment? Why can't I let go of this attachment? Instead of, trying to figure it out from other people, just kind of throw it out into the universe and then let it be. Remove, the need to understand or know, and just kind of say, I want an answer for this. And you will recognize, in this, it's really just you stating to yourself that you're looking to bring awareness to the root cause of what is, holding this attachment, what is actually the root cause of why you can't let go of this thing you're looking to let go. And that will come in time. So go ahead to step into that, become curious about that, and really just get in touch with yourself and that curiosity to understand that, hey, this is going to be a journey, unique to me, and letting go and understanding the reasons as to why. So take what resonates from what people are sharing with you, but understand it is going to be a journey unique to you. And often that has to be some time in solitude and in nature if you can, because nature is great. So, learning to let go is a process. Let's face it. We can get attached to things. We can get attached to people. We can get attached to careers. We can get attached to perceptions and beliefs that hold us in scarcity and finances. We can get attached to, this idea, this goal that we have for ourselves, that it has to turn out a certain way. And, when it does, sometimes we, come to this awareness that didn't feel as good as I thought it was going to, or it doesn't unfold in the way you wanted it to, so you become upset about it. And this is a big part of learning to let go, is that we're not always aware of what is actually going to benefit us. When we are trying to hold on to an outcome, when we're trying to hold on to a relationship, a lot of the time I view it as the universe is really trying to give you the things, the life that you are looking to live, the abundance, the aligned relationships that make you feel seen and heard, that see you for your authenticity. The universe is really trying to bring in to your life the things that are meant for you. And yes, sometimes that comes with challenges, because we need to learn lessons to understand why we're holding this attachment. What is the cause of that? And just challenges in life to really bring awareness to what thought processes and beliefs we hold that we need to let go of. And that's a big part of it as well. But it's when we can learn to let go of these things, you will recognize the beautiful things that you could not perceive, that you didn't even think about, will begin to fall into place in your life. And that, is just being present in the moment. So when we're trying to let go, I think there's an important tool that we can take into our practices, and that is really just becoming present. Removing the focus, as I mentioned, of what everyone's telling you. Yes, take your knowledge, test it out, do some trial and error, but understand that when you're taking time in solitude and focusing on the present moment, you're going to recognize things. You're going to recognize, hey, I'm going to take this moment to self-reflect of my life and ask the reasons as to what I don't like and why they are here. Why did I allow them into my life? Why did I attract them in the first place? And I like to talk about the law of attraction and treating life as a mirror a lot of the time, for us to really just gain awareness of a reflection, to understand that, hey, I am deserving of beautiful things. I am, deserving of abundance. I am deserving of, love where I feel seen and heard. I am deserving of, a career that I'm excited to get up for in the morning, to, bring all these things, these manifestations into my life. So if I'm not experiencing that, I'm not stuck, but I perceive I'm stuck. And that's the thing I need to understand, so that I can let go of that mindset, or I can let go of that environment. I can let go of that relationship. I can let go of that aspect that is really holding a tie to this. And, this is really important. So, coming to a space that you can practice, being present in the moment, will help to gain clarity and curiosity for you about what in your life is really, causing an effect of what it is you're looking to let go of. So, if we're looking at, a relationship, let's say, maybe you've parted ways, but you're still feeling that attachment. And I bring this one up because I feel like this is a really big one that everyone talks about. I can't let go of this person. I think about them all the time. We talk about, twin flames and soul ties, and I get it. It's a thing. But a lot of the time, when we're not able to let go of these things, sometimes, it's actually restricting us from a real deep connection that would actually be something that is more aligned with who we are authentically. We are holding on to that control, that attachment. And that's a part of it, is that we are always restricting ourselves from the life we desire. And I know that's a hard thing to hear, and it's a hard thing to face. And I face it all the time. It's really a process in life that we're really just on a journey of learning, unconditioning what we've been told to be, how to perceive and, think about things, and really just gaining awareness and getting to a space to understand that, hey, people say it all the time, and I know it's repetitive, and I know it really doesn't mean much. And, at one point in my life, it didn't mean much to me. But, people always say, you can live your dream reality. You can create that life for yourself, and it's true. But when we are stuck in these, self-limiting beliefs, when we're stuck in the subconscious, programs and patterns that have been built in, we cannot always bring awareness to the root cause of what is, causing us to hold this attachment that we can't let go of things. But it's when we let go of these things, that new things that are more aligned with who we are, that are actually, elevated, which are, really going to bring you to an elevated space in any area of your life, that can really come into your life. Because if we're holding this attachment, I always talk about how everything is energy. You're holding that energy, you're holding on to that. So that is kind of what's there until you can learn to let it go. And, when we're talking about relationships, a lot of the time when we are feeling, you've parted ways and you're holding that attachment, you don't know how to let go. You're always thinking about this person. And I understand, with soul ties and that, there are aspects where, yes, energy, I won't get into that aspect, but with, relationships, when we can bring awareness to understand, hey, what is the thing I'm actually attached to? Is it the person, or is it how they made me feel? And it's always how they made you feel. And that's what it is that we focus a lot on the things, but they all elicit a feeling within us. So taking time to reflect, to understand, okay, I'm holding this attachment, and maybe, yes, it was the best relationship you ever had, but you parted ways. Taking time to understand, what is it about myself, that I was feeling the need to fill a void within myself, that was eliciting, this feeling. And that's a hard thing to face. And I know that, but that is really going to help you to leave these, attachment that you're feeling in regards to, a relationship, a person, and you've parted ways, or just things in general. So kind of, coming to a space to say, hey, I always felt very seen and heard by them. What is it about myself, me being alone, that I don't feel seen and heard and appreciated? What is it about myself, my childhood, maybe a belief I hold, that I am actually, how I'm treating myself, that is really, leading me to hold to this attachment, because I don't want to let go of this feeling. I don't want to let go of this void that I need to heal, or that I need to build within myself. And, that's a big thing I had to learn over the years, even just, in some of my relationships, bringing awareness to the fact that, I always thought I was attached to this person. I was always, getting apologies. I was always, staying and saying things were okay when, I was kind of communicating that they weren't. But, that was me coming to a space and awareness to say, it didn't matter if it was an apology, 50 times, the actions weren't changing. So it was bringing my awareness to the fact that, why do I as a person feel it's okay to be treated like this? Why do I as a person feel it is okay that, there is a void within myself and just, this company, that I'm feeling unseen and unheard, and I'm begging for the bare minimum. And that's something that is difficult, but we need to reflect on a lot of the time, is that, we can perceive we are attached to someone. And it doesn't mean there isn't love there. And, that was me. I had a lot of love. I'm a loving person. And I was held on to this attachment in my relationships, but I wasn't always bringing awareness to how it made me feel, and, why I was always feeling kind of, on the sidelines, why I was always feeling, second best, why I was always feeling like a third party, why I was always feeling unseen and unheard. And some of that, yes, is for you to reflect on the fact that, maybe you have a shadow that you need to address. But it's really just bringing awareness to understand, this attachment is really just because of something within myself, to understand I had no self-worth. I, wasn't in an environment growing up that I knew what that was. So I had these belief systems that I was unaware of, that it was okay to be treated this way because it's what I had known. And that's really what it comes down to a lot of the time with our attachments. It really always comes down to the past and, what we've learned, what's been conditioned, the things we cannot always perceive. And we always are, viewing it as, I love this person, I'm attached to this person, and I can't let go of them, and I don't know why. And yes, I'm not saying there isn't love there, but we can love someone and let them go as well, in understanding that maybe it's no longer aligned. maybe, the both of you are meant for better things. And the truth is that if things are meant for you, they will either, be there for you, or in time, when the time is right, they will return to you. But, that's not for you to hold that attachment that someone's going to come back. And I just want to throw that out there as well, is that we really need to come to a space to understand that it is okay to fully let go, set things free, so that we can step into the change. So, that's my unique perspective of how you can approach relationships. And, if you're feeling an attachment to that, just to bring awareness, to understand that, hey, I really need to reflect on myself to understand that, yes, while there's love there, while I really appreciate the time we spent together, while I wish, things worked out in a different way, sometimes things are just misaligned, and people are going to choose what they're going to choose, whether that's you or the other party. And, that's really just coming to the space to understand that, people are going to choose what's best for them, and they should be. And sometimes, yes, it doesn't come out in the best intentions or the best ways, but that's a reflection of a void they need to face within themselves. If it's someone who cheated on you, that's something within them that they need to recognize, fill that void, and face that. So, that's not your job to do that. That is for them. They need to treat, their life as a mirror, to ask the question, why did I cheat? What is it about myself I need to face? And that's something that you can bring to your awareness to say, okay, I can let go. Understanding that, I don't deserve this. And if it's something you're always attracting and you're holding on to that, that really is a part of attachment as well, is that, I love to talk about the law of attraction, but if you're always attracting partners that are cheating on you, it's kind of coming to a space to bring awareness to the fact that, yes, you definitely don't deserve that. But what is it about myself that I am bringing this into my life? What is it about myself that I am actually, interested in this person in the first place? What is this feeling I feel when I'm getting to know this person that is leading to this? And I know that's hard, that's triggering, but triggers lead to truth. And I always say that. And, it's just coming to a safe, space, with support from others, supporting and loving yourself, to understand that you don't deserve that, treatment of people. But if it keeps happening, there's a reason why, and we need to go ahead to reflect that and let it go. And that's really the clue, is that, the law of attraction states you're a vibrational match for something. And I'm not saying that you deserve ill intentions that people put onto you, or really, unfortunate circumstances. I've been there. You definitely don't deserve that. But, it's bringing awareness to the fact that, hey, what is it about my approach to life? What I'm attracted to, what I'm attracting, what is it that's attracting this thing continuously into my life that is ending in this way, that is not really what I want, that is really not bringing me to a space that I'm feeling loved and seen and heard. And sometimes that goes with, if you're a person who, has walls up and you ghost all the time, it's really just coming to a space to understand that, sometimes you're putting walls up because you just don't want to feel. If you're someone who's always having one night stands, it's about you not wanting, to face intimacy. You're having a hard time feeling intimacy. It's not about the physical aspects. So these are hard things that we need to go within and face, but it's when we bring awareness to these aspects that we can finally let go of these attachments to certain people in relationships, or attachments to, the same style of relationships that we continue to attract into our lives, whether that's just, certain friend groups, whether that's, in business, and you're recognizing, why am I always in these, careers that are leading me into burnout? What is it that I'm perceiving and, approaching, this career to say, hey, this is for me, but it's actually leading me into burnout and chronic illness? That shouldn't be a thing. That's not right. So what is it about myself, how I approach life, my unique energy, my unique perception, that I believe, this is how things need to be. And I can let that go to understand, maybe I need to try a new way. Maybe I need to do something completely different that's authentic to me. And that's really the key. And in life is that, things are going to be unique to you, and we should really approach every aspect of your life in that, to step into the new, to do things how other people, for the most part, maybe aren't doing them, to embrace our authenticity. And that will really just help you as well with letting go of things, because you're going to recognize, as you build that within yourself, stepping into your authenticity, you begin to become confident in who you are and understanding who you are. And it becomes so easy to let go of things because you understand, okay, well, it's not meant for me. You really gain a confidence, understand what is good for you and what is not. And this really helps you to bring awareness to the fact that, when you are feeling confident as your authentic self, and it is a process, it's about taking steps to get there, that you really recognize like, hey, this is not something that is good for me. This is not something I want. I don't deserve this. I know where this pattern came from. I brought awareness to it. I'm going to let it go. And when you let it go, you will recognize you no longer attract it into your life. And that's important, is that, with the law of attraction, you need to be a vibrational match for something. You will actually recognize that, when you are attracting a lot of, let's say, I hate the word, but narcissistic relationships, you will recognize that when you brought awareness to it, when you healed from it, you will recognize that you no longer attract it into your life. And, if you meet someone, you recognize it right away, that you are very much aware, that you remove yourself. And that's really what it's about, awareness. And it's when we can bring these aspects to our awareness that we really start attracting and living a life that's authentic to us, that we really have no problem understanding what needs to be let go. And yes, we have to grieve those things, but we just allow them to be set free, and understanding that, it's not going to be, healthy for us in the end. It's not authentic to me, and that's okay. I'm just going to set it free, let it go. So that is, how you can approach, relationships and learning to let go of them. And, when we're looking to let go of, a version of yourself, I feel like that's a hard one that nobody talks about, but I think it's really valid and important to bring to our awareness, in your approach to life, is that, when we are healing, when we are growing, when we are changing, we also need to let go of those old parts of ourselves. And that's something that we need to give ourselves permission to grieve. Everything you let go of, we talk about, when you lose someone, when you let go of something, you need to grieve that. But also, when you are letting go of old parts of yourself, you need to allow some time for yourself to grieve that, because you're really saying goodbye to that version of yourself, that person. And, like I mentioned with the chapters, if you don't allow yourself time to grieve that, to understand that, you're not starting a new chapter, you're closing a book and starting a new one, then you'll still hold on to that identity for, a period of time, in the subconscious mind. So allow yourself that time to do that healing. And I know it's not fun, but grieve that aspect of yourself, that part that you can, give some love to, and understand that, it protected you. It, had a benefit to your life. It supported you in the way that it felt it needed to, in the times, that you felt were right. Whether that's, your habits that were undesired, you were someone who binge drank all the time, you were just numbing out because of your environment, your relationships, a lot of your struggle. Maybe you were someone who, was always, pleasing people. You can recognize that, it's no longer benefiting you. You need to grieve that, let it go, but you recognize where it came from your childhood and your upbringing, trying to feel seen and heard by people, but just feeling very alone. When we can bring awareness to these aspects of ourselves, that we are looking to let go, we need to grieve it in order to let it go as well. So really just approaching, letting go of the old versions of yourself is going to, be a unique journey to you. Letting go is a unique journey to you in every area of life. But, when you are looking at, who you were, give yourself time to grieve. And I think that is the most important thing I can say with learning to let go of the old parts of ourselves, is that we need to, allow that time to understand that, we were that person. It's kind of a hard thing because, it's hard to let go of, relationships and people we love. But, I don't think we give ourselves enough credit to understand that, we are literally, ending parts of ourselves. We are literally saying goodbye to parts of ourselves all the time, but we don't really bring our awareness to that fact. And that's why, we feel, a lot of anxiety. We feel a lot of, sadness and shame, and we don't always understand why. And it's because we don't always give ourselves, permission to grieve, what we're changing about ourselves. You are literally ending a relationship with yourself to step into a new version of you. And that happens a lot throughout our lives. It's not just in, once or twice. It's a constant thing. So when you're looking to change, when you are, changing any area of your life, whether it's a perception, a mindset, a habit you held, how you viewed, certain relationships, life, whatever it is, give yourself that time to grieve those parts of yourself so that you can really, feel what needs to be felt and really say goodbye to it. Say goodbye to that old version of you and allow that, book to close so you can start anew and really, cut those ties with, that version of you, that reality, and step into the new book, the new you, and let go of the old in a complete way without, holding on to those ties and, those old habits, maybe, in our subconscious mind, or that we, hold an identity to it in some way. And that can also, when I talk about, habits, that can also go with addictions. That's a really big part of it, is that, what I've learned, and, do what works best for you. I'm just sharing my unique perspective, wisdom and experiences. But when I felt, addicted to things, whether that was alcohol, unfortunate situations with, feeling addicted to, live in chaos, whether I felt addicted to, weed, whether I felt addicted to binge eating, you feel like you have no control over it, right? It's a different sense when you are trying to heal these wounds. So a lot of the time, you're told, that you count, right? You say, oh, I'm 3 years sober, and what I have learned is that, when I count, I really hold an attachment to that identity. And that's, something I had to kind of bring to my awareness to say, hey, I am no longer this person. I don't need to count. I'm not going to hold on to an identity to bring, fact that, hey, it could happen again. So I'm going to keep counting every day. And like I said, do what works best for you. I'm sending a love through the screen. I'm not trying to, put this in a, dark shadow, light. You need to do what works best for you. And I understand, addiction is a very unique challenge and a difficult challenge to each individual. But, what I've learned is that, I don't count. When I kind of let go of things, it kind of just fell off a lot of the time when I just said, you know what, I don't identify with this person. And, the more I just kind of stepped into a new version of me, I didn't think about those things. They just kind of fell off, and I didn't hold an identity. I didn't hold a tie to them in my subconscious mind that I said, hey, I am someone who doesn't drink. I, didn't hold an identity to these things. I basically just said that I'm me. It is what it is. I used to do that in my past, but that chapter is closed. I'm a completely new version of myself, and I just view it as a different reality. And that's just how I like to view it. An old book that you no longer hold that tie, you're no longer holding that attachment on the subconscious level, because it is our subconscious mind that really has control over our actions a lot of the time. So that's our biggest struggle, is the patterns the subconscious mind has on repeat. So that's, a big part of addiction. And that's why they say replace it with something, because you begin to cause a habit with something a little better, and then you go to something else. And that is a process with that in addiction. But, when we are holding an attachment, to the fact that, we've been sober, we, were an addict, we kind of put this perception or subconscious mind that we still believe that to be who we are, on some sense. We hold that to our identity. So kind of, allowing that to be released may help you. It may not be, what you want to do. So do what works best for you, as I mentioned. But, that's a unique tool that, I brought into my life that really just helped me to disassociate that so I could finally let it go. And it's not something that ever triggers me anymore. So, going ahead to, step into the change and learning to let go with the old parts of yourself, is something you have to grieve and go through. And it's going to be unique to you, as I mentioned. So for the last example of letting go, I'm kind of going to do more environment things. So when you're trying to let go of, a home, or a career, maybe a city, maybe a situation, an outcome that you expected it to turn out a certain way, whatever it is, I think the best advice I can give with that is to, pretend that every single door is closed. People always say, you just need to step into the fear. When you feel the fear, that's when you need to step into it. And this is true. But, let's be honest, that doesn't always work. And when we're stuck in these subconscious patterns, when we are, struggling in some way that we haven't, brought our awareness to of what is the cause of that, we really find it difficult to step into the fear, to step into what's unknown, to try something different, and we can't let go of these things. So that can, be you. You've always felt a call to, move, to a different country, even, just solo traveling. But, you are feeling like you can't leave your hometown. You can't leave your home, your family. You are not knowing how to let go of these things. So, what I kind of suggest and what I kind of do, and I suggest to you to try, is, this comes from my actual experience. But, now I can kind of take it as a tool to perceive it in this way. So, it's easier to step into the change or, the fear that you experience sometimes to let go of things. But basically, picture that every single door in your current life is closed. And, this goes with my own unique experience is that, I basically, view it as I was forced by the universe to step into the unknown. I basically felt a call to move across country, but, my life shattered around me. And it didn't matter what I was trying. It didn't matter, what I was, doing. Nothing was working out for me to stay there. And, I was living in Toronto at the time. My 8-year relationship was ending. I was saying goodbye to my friendships. I had come to the realization of some unfortunate family situations. And I literally was saying goodbye to every single person I knew. And, I was going through fibromyalgia. So, I was coming out of being bedridden. I had gained 80 pounds and fat inflammation. And I talk about it all the time. But, my life shattered around me. And, it's just a unique perspective and how I kind of approach life now. And, I didn't have a job and I was applying to, 10 to 20 jobs, sending out resumes every single day at a cafe for like 2 months and I was receiving nothing. And, this is, what it was is that every single door was closed and I basically was being forced to take a leap of faith to do that thing that my intuition was telling me to do, to book a one-way ticket with the little bit of money I had on my credit card, to take a leap of faith. And this is what led me to everything. This is what led me to, within a week, I was getting jobs. Within a week, my fibromyalgia pain was, dissipating. And I talk about these things is that, I really promote that everything is energy and, there are different aspects and everyone's going to have a unique perception in that. But we really have, the ability to heal ourselves. We really have the ability to step into, an abundant life in every area, in your health, in your wealth, in your relationships. And sometimes when we don't let go of things, we actually bring ourselves into difficult situations and a lot more pain in the mental sense and in the physical sense. And that was me. I didn't know how to let go of things, but it led me into chronic mental and physical illness. It led me into, relationships and situations that maybe I was not treated the way I would have liked. It led me into a lot more struggle instead of learning to let go. And this is my perception on this is that when I was basically forced to take that leap of faith, everything changed for me in the most profound way. You really do experience different manifestations, synchronicities if you will. The things you are looking to bring into your life often come with you letting go of, the things you feel you need to, but you're struggling to let go of. Whether that is a relationship, whether that is a home, whether that is an environment, a situation, a career that maybe you don't like, but you're always, stuck in this scarcity mindset. They're saying, I need, stability. I had no stability, but it led me to everything that was beautiful. And, this is what it's about is that, I like to view, people say God, people say the universe, you're protected. But you need to take a leap of faith on yourself sometimes and let go of the things that maybe are no longer aligned with who you're looking to step into, the life you're looking to live. So when we are talking about, a home environment, a career, when we're having a hard time letting go of these things, just kind of bring it to your awareness. And I know, it's hard to kind of fake things, but really just, force yourself into a situation, not in a harmful way, but to kind of just say, okay, every single door here is closed. I need to really, allow that to be. I need to say that nothing here is going to work. I need to make a decision. What am I being called to do? What is it I want to do? What am I stepping into? And take a leap of faith and let go of that thing and just book the ticket. And that was me, just booking that ticket. I was really trying to stay in the city, but nothing was really coming to play. I was needing to leave my home situation, and while I wasn't getting jobs, I obviously couldn't find a new home to live in. I said goodbye to everyone I knew. I had no one to connect with or talk to. And it was this, that every door was closed. I had to force myself to take that leap of faith. And that weekend, I cannot tell you how anxious I was. I was pacing back and forth, scared shitless. But because everything was done in my life, every door was closed, yes, I had to feel what I was feeling. I had to feel that fear. I had to feel that anxiousness. And I had to just press the button, book the ticket. And then once you did, you're like, okay, it's fine, it's gonna work out. It's literally once you do it, but it's the lead up, that a lot of the time we face a lot of resistance. But it's past that resistance that we really need to face a lot of the time that is going to lead us to a better space. And that really is just bringing us to a space that we can let go. We can set ourselves free from a lot of the struggle that sometimes unknowingly we are facing, or learning to let go of things in general that we're just needing and knowing that we need to let go of. So this is today's episode with some tips and tools of how you can approach letting go in life. And I hope that it helps you on your unique journey to get to a better space, a better life, align with the things that are meant for you. And truly, that's my wish for you. So keep shining, lovely beings, and know that I believe in you in your unique way. And if you're feeling the call to step into the new, to align with your elevated energy and everything that is meant for you to manifest into your life, go ahead to check out theautomindset.com for this 3-month energy expansion transformation, the Quantum Clubhouse, starting March 1st to June 8th, where we will be doing 8 bi-weekly masterclasses to help you through a shift in energy in every single area of your life, to bring in your manifestations, to basically provide you the tools for a shift into the reality that you desire. And this is a wonderful 3-month energy expansion transformation to you to elevate every area of your life. And also we'll be addressing how to let go, how to approach that in your mindset, how to heal those wounds, because it is a process, and it is a hard thing that a lot of us have to face. So keep shining, lovely beings, and I am so excited for you to embark on your journey of letting go towards everything that is meant for you to receive.